Is it weird that I'm nervous that my husband might actually see this video when I'm talking about our love story, like as if he doesn't know? Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing something a little bit different. This was a requested video stemming from a video I did a couple weeks ago about 10 things that you might not know about me. I will link that video in the iCards for you if you have not seen it. If you are new to our channel, hi, my name is Kimmy and I post new videos every Monday and Friday about motherhood, lifestyle, and everything in between. So if you're new to our channel, I would love to have you subscribe. While you're down there, go ahead and give us a thumbs up and let us know that you like this video. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my and my husband's love story. I guess you could say I feel a little weird calling it that, but I guess it's what it is. And my husband actually just recently subscribed to my channel. Yes, after, you know, 6 years of YouTube, he finally decided to go ahead and give me a vote of confidence. But if you're seeing this, honey, just stop watching because you're gonna poke fun at me for telling it from my point of view. But anyways, we move forward. You guys had asked to hear about our love story, and I'm gonna share it from my point of view and kind of how things went. We have a unique love story in the sense that it's the only boy I've ever dated, the only boy I've ever kissed, and we got married. So, but I guess we should get started. So this isn't like a 25-minute video. I think the best place to start is, how did we first meet? So our lives and our paths of life have always kind of crossed paths in the sense of, like, we grew up in similar areas. Our parents had friends that were similar. We went to the same church and just things like that. So like throughout life there was correlations to each other. But I met my husband for the first time in 7th grade when he started going to the school that I was at. So he started in 7th grade and I had been going to school at that school for about a year. And during that time in school, all of our lockers were alphabetical by last name. So at the time, my best friend had a last name that started with a letter F. So as you can imagine, D and F, they're right next to each other. And when I first met my husband and when we first met each other as classmates, there was definitely not anything like, oh, he's cute or anything. It was kind of the opposite in the sense that he thought I was super obnoxious and super annoying. And granted, as a 7th grade girl in middle school, he was on point. There was probably a lot of things about me that were very obnoxious that he grew to love over time. But at that time, it was definitely annoying. And every morning in middle school at that time, I would always be at my friend's locker and he would try to come to class and I'd be in his way and didn't want to move and was very obnoxious. And one day I'll never forget that and this, I mean, again, you guys, this goes to show you how obnoxious I was. He had came to school. It was before school started in the morning. He got to school. He was trying to get to his locker and he was like, excuse me, can you please move to me? Because I was in his locker or in front of his locker. And I was like, yeah, you know, I don't really think so. And he asked me again, like, can you please move? Like, I'm trying to get to my locker and start, you know, putting stuff away or whatever and get to class on time. And I just was kind of like laughing and like, whatever, dude, I'm not moving. And he pushed me out of the way, which looking back in retrospect, I don't blame him because, hello, I'm so obnoxious and he was really nice and tried to ask me like 2 times and I refused to do it. But that kind of goes to show the nature of our relationship when we first met. I did not think he was cute. I thought he was super dorky. He thought I was really obnoxious, and that was that. And fast forward a couple of years, so we both went to, again, the same school from 7th to 12th grade till we graduated. And fast forward 2 years, we were freshmen and we were sitting in science class at the time. And I was just kind of whatever. And I remember the way that the room is structured. So like there was kind of like a half square of seats. So like I sat on this side of the room and then across from me directly was like another set of desks. And we were working on something. And And I'll never forget, I mean, boys are so obnoxious in high school, super immature. And we had like free time where we were working on something after the instruction portion of the class was done. And I'm sitting at my desk and my husband was across from me talking to some boys and whatever. I don't remember exactly the nature of what was going on, but I remember looking at him and all of a sudden there was this like, oh wait, he's kind of cute. And there was just something that was different about him in that day and that time, where I remember seeing the way he interacted with people or the other kids of our age in his class, boys, and there was something inside of me that was just like, there's something different about him. And it freaked me out because I was like, wait a second, no way, like this kid's not cute, you think he's obnoxious, what's going on here? And it was so funny. It was just the weirdest thing because there was this sense in me that was just like, this is really strange. And I remember like just starting to pay attention to him after that and watching him just interact with people, and there was just something different about him. There was something in my heart that just, as weird as this sounds, there was something in my heart that just like wouldn't let him go. And I didn't know what it was. And at this time in my life, you know, I was 14 years old at this time. I'm starting to really think about boyfriends and dating and high school relationships and romance and all of those things. And my perspective at that time, and something that I always really held in my heart with when I would talk to the Lord about what I was searching for in high school relationships and just in life in general, I had a really strong sense about wanting to not waste my time with things. And this sounds really, really deep and really serious for somebody who was 14, but I remember watching my friends as they started to date boys and had relationships and they broke up, and I remember seeing them just cry and be heartbroken and all of these things, and I just thought to myself, like, why would I waste my time? Like, why would I even go through something in life that just would end so stupidly? And that's, again, a totally different perspective than most teenagers and pre-teenagers would have. But it was just something in my heart that I just felt really strong about, that if this is not something that would end in a future state, I'm not gonna waste my time. Like, why would I invest my heart? Why would I let a piece of myself go to somebody in any way, shape, or form that just isn't gonna make sense in the long term? I know, I'm weird, I'm different, but that was really, truly my heart. And so I said all that to say, I remember having really like a sense about Scott, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know why he felt special, but there was just something in my heart that would not let him go. And it sounds creepy, it really does. I get it, I'm a weirdo, okay? But it was just something that was strong in my heart. And so from that year, that was like the fall of, let me go back and look. It was early, so it was like February, somewhere in that time frame, January, February of my freshman year of high school, 2002. I know, I'm old, y'all, I'm 30. And I remember just thinking about him, and there was a point in my life where, at that time in my life, where the Lord just said, just trust me, just pray for him as a person, pray for him as it pertains to his life and his destiny, and whatever his role in your life is, whether that's friendship or something more, just pray for it. And so I know it sounds weird, okay? I get it. But I remember just being like, all right. So I spent almost a full year before we started dating just praying for Scott, praying for him as a person, praying for what the role of him in my life would be. And I remember there was times where I would just say, like, I don't know why I feel compelled to pray for this person, but I just thank you, Lord, for him and for his life and for whatever plan you have for him, that he would seek you first, and that whatever, why, I don't know, but whatever it is that you have laid him on my heart, I just thank you that you have a plan for him. And it was really simple as that. And I did have a crush on him during this time, and it was weird and awkward because like people knew, and like the whole high school situation is weird. But I remember people like telling him that I had a crush on him, and I was like, oh my God, no I don't. And you know, it was just weird. High school's weird. Fast forward to, we were sophomores in high school, and at that time AOL Instant Messenger was a life, okay? If you are from my time frame, give me a thumbs up and tell me that you understand how vital AOL Instant Messenger was. So at this time we had computer class, and everybody was downloading AOL Instant Messenger so we could chat with each other during computer class. And my best friend again at the time had told Scott to set up a AOL Instant Messenger. Like, she was going through and telling everybody to do it, and he was kind of like, whatever, this is stupid. But she had him set one up, and she knew I liked him, obviously. And so it was really funny. She had him like set it up, and we started just like chatting, and it was kind of like, you know, hey, how's it going, whatever, totally like nonchalant. And I don't exactly remember over time how it changed, but we started talking on AOL Instant Messenger, and y'all, this is real life. So I did not have internet in my house during this time, so I would go and work on my dad's work, to be like, oh, you know, I have this paper that I really need to work on, and I need to go spend like 4 hours on a Saturday to go and work on my paper, because I need to do internet research, because these were the days where like these babies didn't exist, and people had dial-up internet, and like internet was like, you were really rich. I mean, not rich, but like not every home had internet, okay? This is real. I remember going to my dad's work to work on paper. I think it was like a science fair project or something. And there was one day that Scott and I just chatted on Instant Messenger for like 5 hours. It was crazy. And if you know my husband, especially at that time in life, he was not a chatty person, like at all. And so we started talking about everything on Instant Messenger. And I'm going back to look, because so like a couple years ago I had like wrote down, you can't see this, I journaled at the time, and so these are like snapshots from my journal from that point in time. And we started talking about things on Instant Messenger, and this was from November 30th, 2002. And I wrote, we talked on I Am tonight for 2 hours about like deep things, his life, my life, things in general. He totally opened up, and we talked about our families, and wow, just so much. Our conversation turned into a God thing. It was awesome. I can't even say how happy I was. And I remember just feeling like we were, as crazy as this sounds at 15, I remember feeling like I was on the verge of this big moment in my life. And we started talking every day on Instant Messenger, and then that turned into like face-to-face conversations, obviously. And I'll never forget, like, I knew he like really liked me because we were all at lunch, and I remember like at this time, you know, high school girls, they all sit together at lunch and are obnoxious and gossipy and chatty and whatever. And I'll never forget, he came over with his lunch tray and sat at the table of like 6 girls so he could have lunch with me. And I remember being like, okay, I think he kind of likes me. So this all culminated in a conversation. We started dating on December 12th, 2002. And he asked me, it's so cute. So we were after school, it was, he had basketball practice because he played basketball, and Wednesday night was church, and our school and church were in the same building. So he had asked me if I could like watch him do basketball practice, and then he wanted to talk to me before we went to church that night. So we were sitting at the lunchroom watching him play basketball, and he came out and he was like, wanted to ask me to this upcoming Christmas party that we were having with our youth group. And so it was really cute. We sat down at this table, and he was super nervous, and he was like, will you go with me to the Christmas party? And I said, yes. Yeah, I'll go with you to the Christmas party. And he goes, okay, so my second question is, do you want to go as friends, or do you want to go as boyfriend, girlfriend? And I was like, well, what do you want? And then I think he goes, well, what do you want? And you know, it was just dorky, high school, whatever. And he said, I want whatever you want. And I was like, well, I want to go as boyfriend, girlfriend. He's like, so that's it. Well, that's what we'll be then. And that was kind of it. And we started dating in December of 2002 and dated all throughout high school. Which is an accomplishment in and of itself when you think about how dramatic high school relationships can be. All throughout high school, we never once broke up. We had just a really good relationship, and I mean, My husband will have a different perspective looking back at it now, and I do too, because I was an obnoxious teenage girl who was so emotional, and I had all of my baggage that I brought into him with like teenage drama that he was just like way over it. But there was just something really different and really special about our relationship. And I remember having a conversation early on, and my husband would totally tease me, but I was like, I could, you know, we just both knew that like we weren't interested in wasting time, and if it wasn't something that we felt like God really had orchestrated for us, that we would break up and like not be together, because we didn't have any intention of wasting the other person's heart. And I think that that's really intuitive in the sense of like what God has for all of us in a very big sense, that his best is to, you know, protect your heart. In my senior year of high school, I had decided that I wanted to go to school in Oklahoma to pursue education at a Christian Bible-based college, and Scott was going to stay in Minnesota and start going to community college at that time. So we did 2 years long distance, and that was really pivotal for me, and I think for us in general, because dating throughout high school is interesting in the sense of like you've never really had like real world experience, and so we didn't really have anything that like, I knew that I loved him and I knew that he was like my forever. He had given me a promise ring on our, it would have been 2-year anniversary, 3-year anniversary, with the intent of, you know, someday he wanted to propose to me. I should actually read you guys that poem because it's really cute. So it says, a promise is a commitment that you know you will not break. A promise is something that is definitely not fake. And so I promise to you that I will love you always, even on those lonely rainy days. I will be with you to the end, until the day I die, or until that fateful day comes and we're called into the sky. So take this promise ring and guard it with your life, for now you know someday I will be your husband and you will be my wife. Isn't that so cute? He's such a little cheese ball. And we knew that like, in our hearts we were committed to each other, but we weren't ready to get married at that point in time. We were 18. At that point in life, I probably would have thought we could have been ready for marriage. Thank God we didn't. But I went to Oklahoma and we did 2 years long distance. He was incredibly supportive of my dream and my passion to go ahead and do that. And I'll never forget a conversation we had when I was getting ready to go to school. And I remember him saying like, if you were the type of person that would stay here just for me, I would want to be with you. Like, I want you to pursue all that God has planned for your life. And if you stayed here for me, I would break up with you, because that's not the kind of person I would want to be with. So I ended up going to school in Oklahoma, Broken Arrow, for 2 years. And then it really solidified in my heart that was the person I wanted to be with. I met different people, I had exposure to different things, and in my life I just knew that like as I moved forward and as I went and moved into adulthood, that Scott was the person that I wanted to be with. It really did solidify for me forever in my heart that that was what I wanted to pursue. So I came back from Oklahoma and we had talked about getting married and talked about a lot of different things. And so I was 20 years old, Scott was 21, and I had came back from school and we just really wanted to get married, and we were young. I mean, a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, you got married at 20? But we just knew in our heart that like we wanted to start our life. We wanted to start forever with each other. And there was a lot of odds stacked against you when you get married and you're 20 years old, but it was something that we just knew in our hearts was forever. And God just really aligned a lot of things. We were able to buy our house and just do a lot of stuff that a lot of 20-year-olds couldn't do, and it just really aligned for us the way that God had intended it to be. So on September 9th, 2007, my husband proposed to me. We went out on to walk around a local lake here in Minnesota, and we were sitting on the beach. We're totally not cheesy and romantic at all, but I had drawn a heart in the sand, and I had a camera with me, and he was like, oh, take a picture of it, which was kind of funny in retrospect. But I remember like sitting down, and he was like, no, stand up, you can see it better from, you know, if you stand up. So I stood up, took the picture, and I turned around, and he was on one knee and said, will you marry me? And I remember just I don't think I ever said yes. But I remember going, shut up, shut up, shut up. And that's all he could say. And he was like, so is this a yes? And yep, so then we got engaged when I was 20, he was 21. We got married June 13th of 2008. And the rest is kind of history in that sense. But that is our love story at a very high level. We were together all throughout high school. We had 2 years apart, and then we got married, and we've been married 9 years now. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If there's any other videos like this that you would like to see, whether it's a story time or more about me or our life or whatever, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I would love to make them for you guys. I feel like I'm a boring person, but there's probably something about me that you guys want to know, so leave it below and we'll see if we can make a video on it. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you join Team Dodge, and we will see you in our next video on Monday. Bye guys!